a quick Panama vacation wrap up. Um, so I'm here at my hotel. I'm gonna check out in about an hour. Head on over to the airport and head back home. Um, my time here was bittersweet. It did not look like this the entire time I was here, and that's understandable because I flew in during rainy season. It was like this every day in February, but it wasn't like this every day in August, right? The last day when I'm leaving, look, man, the sun comes out. So, salute to all the Panamanians out there. Hope you enjoy this weather. I hope this weather stays like this for the rest of the year, which I doubt it, right? But man, I wish I would have had one day where the weather was like this. It was like this for about an hour to, I want to say Friday or Saturday, but hey man, enjoy the weather while you can before it rains again. Okay, so I want to tell you some experiences that I had this time around that I did not have the first time around. So you see over there, that's the San Francisco district. Okay. This time around, I actually walked through the neighborhoods over there and inquired about purchasing a condo over there in this district. The San Francisco district is pretty huge, and Multi Plaza Mall, the mall that I frequent often when I'm out here, that's a part of the San Francisco district. So I'm actually talking about a neighborhood in the district. I forget what the neighborhood is called, but the neighborhood seemed like it's predominantly like a Jewish community uh, with high-end condos in this area. I know one of the names of the condos is the Bellagio. The other name, I think it's called Ocean Park. So if you're familiar with the names of these condos, they're right over there in that area, right? I went into one cozy, you know, cul-de-sac neighborhood. It had its own grocery store, restaurants. It was very peaceful, quiet, and it felt good walking over there. So I'm glad I got a chance to take pictures, videos, and experience that. I have an entire video showing you guys my walkthrough throughout that cul-de-sac on Patreon. So if y'all want to check out the link for the Patreon page. All right. So that's one experience that I had. Number two, the other experience that I had was I walked around Omar Park. Now, when I walked around Omar Park, the weather wasn't like this at all. I would say 15 minutes within my walk throughout the park, it started raining heavily, and I had to wait for about an hour. I was soaked by the time I left Omar Park. But I left from there and went to a steakhouse nearby, had some, really good Angus steak with pasta. I forget the name of that restaurant, but I made a review on it on Google Reviews. So you guys can go to Google Reviews or go to Google Maps and type in Splashway Beats. You'll see my profile, and it shows you pretty much like I'm a top contributor, one of the top contributors on Google Maps. Wherever I go, I like to leave reviews and help people. So it'll show you some of the restaurants that I went to while I was here. I know one restaurant that I went to. It's called Frank's Place. That's an Italian restaurant. That restaurant, it was pretty good. Good dessert. Um, great service. The waiters, the waitresses, they were very nice, respectful. I left them a pretty decent tip over there, but when I paid for my meal. So I went to Omar's Park, and even though it rained the entire time I was there, or the majority of the time I was there, it was still nice. It was still a nice experience. There's a lot of exotic trees that'll give you shade in the park. So when it rained, I just hid underneath a tree. And then when it stopped raining, I kept walking. And then the rain would pick up again. I would just hide underneath another tree and wait there. So there's enough shrubs and trees in the park where you can hide underneath when it's raining and you don't get wet. All right, so that's another experience that I had. Uh, Over here, Casco Viejo. I did not party in Casco Viejo the first time around. I went to Casco Viejo, I think Saturday night, and I know one of the clubs is called like Club Cancun. It was weird. So it said Cancun on top, and then beneath it, it was like some lights, and it said red. So I guess it's called Club Cancun Red. I think it was either called Club Red, Club Cancun, or Cancun Red. I don't remember. It seemed like a lot of, you know, a lot of people was waiting around outside for people to walk out of the club so that they could bring somebody in the club. And there were dozens of people waiting outside to get in the club, but it was packed to capacity. So I guess they felt, hey man, it's that good to where I'll wait outside until somebody leaves and then they bring me in. There were other clubs as well that people were standing in front of, but I noticed that Cancun Red, that seems like that was a spot that's jumping. All right, everybody that was dressed fly, all the women that were looking cute, they were at Cancun Red. All right, and that was over there at Casco Viejo. So I walked around there at night. That was a different experience. I took some pictures. Everybody outside was looked like, they was dressed fly, dressed to impress. Haircut was on point. That's another thing about Panama. Like the barbers out here are very surgical. I'm gonna be honest. Like compared the haircuts I see out here compared to the haircuts I see in America, America's gonna have to step their game up. And I'm being honest. All right, I didn't walk up on everybody with a camera taking hidden pictures and hidden photos of people's haircuts and the designs they had in their hair and the fade. But man, like the haircuts out here are sharp, right? That's why the first time around, here's another thing. And I mentioned this on Patreon. Saturday, I walked from here to, you see where that digital building, that digital billboard is right there? I walked from here to there to go to the gym. Then I walked back. All right. Then I took an Uber to Multiplaza, and I walked from Multiplaza all the way deep into San Francisco to the Bellagio condo. And then I walked back to Multiplaza. Then I came back to my hotel and I walked a little bit halfway between here and this billboard over here to go to a steakhouse. Then I walked from over there all the way to Casco Viejo. And then I walked around Casco Viejo that night, and then I walked all the way back. And that must have been 100,000 steps for the day. Some of you guys are probably to yourself, that's crazy. Why would you do that? Man, I felt good walking around more this time than I did the last time because I was 40 pounds heavier, right? This is the coastal strip right here. This is called Cinto Costera. I don't know if you remember the last live stream that I did, but when I did my live stream back in February, I couldn't walk that far without having to sit down, rest, because my ankles were hurting, my back was hurting. Like it was just sore because I was carrying 40 pounds more weight on me. And now that I'm slim, stomach is gone, abs is showing, I'm much lighter, taking my diet seriously, in the gym heavier. Man, like I felt good. Now, walking back towards the end of the night from Casco Viejo over here, yes, my back started to hurt, but look how many steps I took throughout the day for me to get to that. So that's another experience that I had that I did not have the last time was being able to walk much more. That's why it's important to check your weight and to eat healthy. Eat healthy, check your weight, so that, man, you can enjoy the ambiance of the city, walking through the city, right? Even when was that Friday night, I walked over to a club that was shut down over here in the city, but the amount of steps that I took Friday night wasn't nowhere near the amount of steps I took Saturday night. But hey, man, I didn't have no issues or complications. I felt much better coming back out here walking. All right. So, and last but not least, I went over to La Chorrera, Panama. So that's about 30, 40 kilometers west of Panama. A lot of foreigners live over there. Of course, Panamanians live over there, but a lot of foreigners, they live over there. There's nice houses, nice neighborhoods where they live. And the reason why is because, it's out the way, no traffic. They still have nice plazas and nice strip malls over there that you can enjoy, nice restaurants, beautiful neighborhoods. So, when you look into housing, some people look into homes outside of the city. The city is cool. The city is nice, especially on days like this, right? But, once, how can I put it? Once you've already kind of experienced the city, sometimes it's like, I would say one negative. Well, it's not even a negative. It's just that there's not as many tourist destinations as like a Korea, like a Seoul, South Korea, right? There's not as many tourist destinations as a Hong Kong. There's not as many tourist destinations as a Bangkok. You see what I'm saying? I know Bangkok very, very well. I don't have to stay in Bangkok. I could go to Rangsit, right? I could go to Bang Na. I could go to Samut Sakhon. A little bit outside of the city, but there's still a train that connects. And then even in the city, there's so much to see, right? You look up things to do in Bangkok, things to do in Seoul, things to do in Tokyo. It's a long laundry list of things to do. Not so much in Panama, right? So after a while, when you've seen everything in the city, it's kind of like, all right, I doing your daily vacationing routines, right? Especially if you have a place to live over here, it's like, well, I like this mall, I like this grocery store, I like doing this on a daily. But if they have it over in a small town like La Chorrera, then it's best to just live over there and then come into the city when you need to, right? Come into the city for business, come into the city to meet up with somebody, come into the city when there's an event, a special event. You see what I'm saying? Sometimes it's a pain and it might stress you out even being an Uber rider, to just be in an Uber and to go through this traffic, the way people drive out here. That's another thing. No disrespect. I thought about renting a motorcycle when I was out here, and I said, no, the way people are driving, I said, no, I'm not doing that. And last but not least, right? This is not so much an experience, but more like, there is something else that I want to mention. I went to the gym this time around. Last time I didn't go to the gym, so this time I did go to the gym. It's within walking distance to the strip. It's called Smart Fit, right? Very nice gym. It's not huge. It fills up quickly, especially during the day. You're gonna have to wait for some machines, but it is a very nice gym. They'll set you up. There's a kiosk. You have to put in some information on the kiosk, and you're already in the system. So once you're already in the system, whenever you come back, you just scan your finger, you pay the fee, and then you're able to enter into the gym. They have decent equipment, all right? And another thing, make sure, last but not least, whenever you travel, make sure you get travel insurance. Okay? I'm not telling you which travel insurance to go with insurance company to go with, but for 1 week for me it was like $45, right? You always want to be safe. You always want to have that security blanket. So make sure you have your travel insurance. I'd hate for anybody to get stuck in a beautiful country like this, because of an unfortunate event, right? Accidents do happen, and you want to make sure you're covered. So 1 week on average, when you travel, it's like $40 to $45 per week. All right. So make sure you get your travel insurance whenever you travel and when you come down here. It doesn't matter where you go. Make sure you get your travel insurance. All right. I hope you enjoy this short 1 week wrap up. I'll see you guys again Thursday night. You guys take care. I'm over and I'm out. Peace.